Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Jillian?
I'm good. So, to begin with, why don't you tell the listeners who you are and what do you bring to this world?
All right, awesome. My name is Jasmyn Haas. I have 20 plus years in big corporate world, really all on the operations side, support side, leadership side. And now recently, I guess not so recently, the last almost 4 years in the startup world from a small startup here. I live in a college town. So it started as a senior project and now as a business. And I wear many hats, but my official hat is head of support and head of HR. I like to call it customer and employee experience because I think HR gets so technical, and it's really my job is focused on making sure that our employees have the best experience as we grow the business.
Oh, I love that. Yes, HR sounds scary. When I was in corporate, HR was a scary place, but I love that you call it that. So, when do we know that it's time to bring on new either employees or contractors for our business?
So I think there's a couple of different scenarios here. One is clearly if you're growing and you need more help, it's time, whether that's a contractor part-time, a full-time. There's other times too where it's just out of your realm of experience or expertise. If you are somebody who's so sales focused and you're starting to grow a support team, and that's really not your realm of expertise, say bringing someone on that can help guide in that process, get that set up, get you going. I also think it's really important too when there's legal matters that are involved. I know we said HR before, but HR in terms of benefits, really technical things, those are all great places to bring somebody on who that's their realm of experience, that's their expertise in two forms, full time, or to bring them in as a contractor, help get you going, maybe transition that over to somebody that has some of those skill sets currently in the business.
Yes, having somebody be in their zone of genius so you can stay in your zone of genius in your business is very important.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think too, one of the things is if you find yourself just you're running around doing tasks all the time and you find you're not focused on strategy, it's time to bring somebody in to be task oriented and let you, especially as an owner of a business, focus on strategy and continue to grow your company and your business.
Yes, definitely. Yes, you don't want to be doing all the little things behind the scenes because then you don't have time to do the things that really grow your business.
Exactly.
I'm actually in the middle of growing my team for my business right now. So, how can we ensure from the very beginning that we give our team members a great experience?
I really think it starts from the very first interaction, that very first email or talking to somebody is just a really positive tone. I know this sounds cheesy, but like exclamation points and smiley faces, and really setting the tone of who you are and what the company is like early on, even ahead of interviews to make them feel welcome through that whole. It's really a journey. We have customer journeys. I think we also have employee journeys. Through that journey, being very transparent. This is what to expect in the interview. Once you bring them on, like I'd like to do an email like a couple days out before their first day that's, hey, like when we were in the office, this is our dress code. This is going to be your buddy. This is their name. This is what they do. This is their phone number. This is the code to the front door. Like all those little things that I think we tend to maybe look over are really so important to, again, being transparent, being warm, being welcoming if we're virtual, having that first like contact on the first day, and then following up first day. Oh gosh, I know it's a lot of information on the first day. How are you feeling? Let's check in. I believe in you. We can do this. Just staying encouraging at the end of that first week. Let's check back in. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are there things that you're feeling uncomfortable, maybe you weren't sure about? And so just each of those steps and really thinking of the tiniest little details. Think back to like your first day when you started at a job and you're like, what do I wish I would have known? Addressing those, what do I wish I would have known as you bring on new employees. A lot of it, I have a lot of interns. And so maybe this is like their first real job and they're just so nervous. They're like, this isn't Taco Bell or the small retail shop or working for mom and dad, and letting them feel comfortable through that process.
Yes, and I love what you say about keep checking in with them, giving them that comfortable place that they can go to ask questions and not feel embarrassed. So I love that. So, what are some of your suggestions for nurturing our team members or employees?
Get to know them as people. I think coming from the corporate world, there was very much this sense of you can't be friends with your employees, you can't get to know them too well, don't get involved in their personal life. And I think the best way is to we're all human, get to know them. Like, do they have kids? Do they have older kids? Do they not have kids? What drives them? Do they have hobbies they love outside work? And building that human connection. So it's not just a number, you're not just an employee, and being able to start to read them. I know that sounds kind of quirky, but a perfect example. So I have this employee, she used to work for me. She's still with the company, and we were on a call, and we have a personal connection, and I could tell in her face something was just not right. And so I messaged her, I'm like, are you okay? Is your hand in front of your face because you're hiding your emotion and how you're feeling? And she's, oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm not okay. I'm feeling really stressed. I'm feeling really frustrated. And I'm like, I hear you. I feel you. I understand. But if I didn't have that personal connection to know her and have had weekly conversations with her, I would have never known that the hand in front of the face was hiding the emotion. So it didn't show on this particular Zoom call. So again, it's just building a personal connection. You don't have to be like, buddy, let's go have a drink, but understanding again, like, do they like to work out? Do they like to ride bikes? So in Monday's check-in call, you can say, hey, did you get to go ride your bike this weekend? And all those little questions just continue to build that relationship and help you nurture them as a person.
Yeah, I found a lot of people just don't want to be a number at a company anymore. They want to feel valued and like their work is important and what they're doing is important and them as a person is important too. So I love that. Do you think that this should be either like daily, weekly, monthly check-ins, especially if you have a virtual team? How do you feel about check-ins with them?
Gosh, I love this question because it like so depends. I'll give another example. At the beginning of COVID, we all went remote. I had worked remote for many years. So I was like, okay, we can do this. But for my team, that was college students and transitioning to remote school and remote work, I had daily calls, and I would literally show up in my sweats with my hair in a bun and no makeup to really set like, it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to roll out of bed with your cup of coffee and get on this daily check-in call. And it wasn't really to talk about anything. It was so I could make sure they were okay, mental health was okay. This person hasn't shown up for 2 days. I need to go check in with them. But as we transitioned to that, we went to weekly calls. And for team meetings, we do weekly calls. One-on-ones, I think, is great to have just to check in. And then I have not my direct reports, but like one layer down, I do monthly calls just to check in. How's it going? I'm here for you. Is there anything I can do? So I really think it depends on where we're at in the world, where you're at in the company, and what kind of the reporting structure looks like. But in times of change, whether it's COVID or you're growing rapidly or a new product is launching, I think weekly, if not daily, is really important just so people don't get scared or get nervous. I know I've used the word, but I think transparency is so important, and you have those daily calls, what's going on.
I love that you did that during quarantine because so many people's mental health during that time was suffering. And a lot of jobs didn't check in. They just expected you to keep working as normal and being your usual self when things were so different. So I love that so much. Like, I think
Yeah,
every
I was
company
like,
should do that.
yeah, show up however you are. And I had kids that are in high school and were transitioning, and I'd have them making coffee and making breakfast behind me. And it was like, it doesn't even matter about that. It matters that we can see each other and we can take care of each other as much as possible.
Yes, and be like a real team and not feel like, again, just a number or just an employee. So I would love to hear your top 3 tips to improve our team members or employees' experience.
So I have 3 words, and then I'll go into them a little bit more, but empowerment, accessibility, and empathy. Starting with accessibility, I am door always open, Zoom always available. Like, I don't even know what that term is anymore in the virtual world,
Yes.
but letting my team know I'm always here for you. If it's 8 at night and something comes up and you need me and it's urgent, reach out to me. Just again, that open door policy of, if I can make your day better, your environment better, your situation better, you're more likely to show up as a happier, more engaged employee. So that accessibility, empowerment. I've been in worlds where it was like you just shove stuff down people's throat and this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do. And they never had a say in it. And so I think empowering employees and to help make decisions. We do what's called a deep dive. So we dig into our conversations and understand what our customers are talking about. And I pull the whole team in and we discuss it. And I say, any idea is a good idea. Let's go for it. So giving that empowerment to them to be able to say, I think this is a good idea. I think this is a good idea. And then when it gets implemented, think how amazing they feel. Like, oh my gosh, that was my idea. And now it's implemented, that empowerment. And empowerment in making decisions, especially in the world of customer support, to not have to be like, oh, I have to go to my manager, I have to go to my manager. Like, how deflating is that? But giving them some guidelines of, yeah, you can do this and you can do this. And so they really feel in control of that conversation and in that empowerment. They want to show up, they want to work for you, they want to help those customers because they feel in control of the situation. And then empathy, this is funny, but I have employees like, and again, a lot of them are interns, they're college students, and they won't show up for a shift. And I immediately go into, oh my gosh, I hope something is not wrong. And that is definitely like the empathy reaction. Okay, I hope they didn't get in a car accident, they're not sick, what's going on? Find them. Okay, you're alive. Now let's get to work. But leaning with empathy to know we are all human. Things happen. Maybe a parent got sick. Maybe a cat died. Maybe you just found out your parents are getting divorced. It's still in that late teens, early 20s. Life is happening in situations that you haven't dealt with. And so not being like, why in the heck weren't you here? Okay, you're okay. What's going on? Let's establish that. Now let's get you transitioned into work. In that instance, if they were late or they missed a shift. But being like, life is hard right now. Life is hard in general. And so just being empathetic to that, again, with boundaries. So people aren't always running over you, but again, having that really coming from a place of empathy and understanding.
Yes. Oh, I used to call whenever I had to call in sick to my old boss, I would feel horrible because he would make me feel like crap. Oh, are you sure? You could probably still come in. You're putting us really behind all the guilt trip. And I don't feel good. Do you want to get sick too? Yeah, so empathy, yes, very big. Things happen. Your alarm clock doesn't go off. Technology doesn't always work. So yes, I love just having that understanding. Thank you so much for coming on. These tips have been really helpful and I'm excited to grow my team and make sure that I foster just that we're all in this together and that we're all trying to accomplish the same mission. So, can you tell the listeners how they can connect more with you?
Yeah, so 2 great places, LinkedIn, Jasmyn Haas, and then on Instagram, Jazzy Haas, Jazzyyhas. Both of those places are a great place to connect with me, and I'd love to meet new people and provide more tips. I love people and employees, and I think just making that experience better makes the little world we impact a
Yes.
better place.
Yes, definitely. And I will make sure all those links are in the show notes. So thank you again so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me.